All right, welcome back. So we're diving back here into Superman by Joshua Williamson here with the issue number 28. And it's here where we finally get to see Prime Earth Superman go face to face with the Absolute Universe's Legion of Darkseid, who have been stalking Prime Earth here for quite some time. But that's not it, because this issue, we also get to see the return here of Superboy Prime. And with that, we also get a lot of additional questions. So when we first pick up on things here, we see Superman just going about his everyday heroics, helping construction workers, saving people from danger, and visiting those who need some hope. But while he's doing this here, the Legion of Darkseid is now on Earth as well, and they've been making their observations here on the Man of Steel. Now, one of them says this: Superman, Man of Tomorrow, the greatest superhero of all time, and he poses as this Clark Kent guy? What's he hiding? So another one replies and says, don't be fooled. He must use that persona to trick his enemies into a false sense of security. It would be a mistake to underestimate him. To which he gets a reply that says, why? Because he has powers? Big whoop. We got powers too. Lots of them. But then in retort, he says, it's more than that. On this world, he inspires people to follow him. His influence spreads far into the future to other worlds. They see him and they hope to be like him, to be better. But then finally here, the last member comes in and says, it's like he's the epicenter of everything our master hates. I guess we should thank him, because now we know who to take out first. Now, when we fast forward here, we see Superman back at home in Smallville, and we see right now in his hands him looking at the Legion flight ring that he got a while back, which of course is fitting considering who he's about to meet. But then Ma Ken comes in and says, I remember when you brought that home for the first time. If any other boy was going on about traveling to the future and meeting kids with powers, I would think that they had an overactive imagination, but not you. I learned to believe in the unbelievable the day that we found you, son. But you see here, Ma can see that something is bothering Clark, so she says, did you just come here to get that team ring? To which Superman replies back and is like, the Legion was more than a team. Pete and Lana, they were great friends growing up in Smallville, but I could never truly be 100% myself with them. The Legion, they let me just be me. They gave me hope for the future. They told me that what I did mattered. Now, Ma, she's like, yo, Clark, you couldn't just come here just to reminisce about the old times. But of course, Soups is like, it was Lana and John Henry's wedding. That creature that attacked during the storm, he's called Validus, an enemy of the Legion from the future. Validus is one of the Legion's most powerful and deadly adversaries here, yet he was running scared, running from something. I'm worried about my friends, Ma. I need to travel to them to make sure that they're okay. Now, Validus here was talked about in the classic Summer of Superman special. Interesting read if you ever want to get into it. So then Ma's like, okay, well, like, what's stopping you? Because the way that she compares it, she's like, well, it's like a high school reunion. I remember when I was nervous, so nervous to go back to hers, thinking about how her old friends had changed, how much she had changed. But then at the same time, she still had a blast when she saw them. But then Clark replies back, he's like, no, it's just the last time I saw them, the Legion was different. And the future is constantly changing. It just feels like tomorrow is so uncertain. To which Ma says, she's like, remember, Clark, the future is never a guarantee. It's earned. If you call these kids your friends, they must be really special. You're going to see them and it's going to be as if not a day has passed. So with that, Clark gets the courage and he rushes off and he goes over to the special tree with the L on it and gives it that light tap. Ding! And then he hears a voice that says, hello, Kal-El. And when he looks, he's like, Imra? Well, this is not quite the Imra that he remembers, because Saturn Girl comes out in her Darkseid Legion suit and she says, no one has called me by that name since I threw my parents into the murder pits of Metropolis. And immediately she tries to get into Superman's mind and she fails a little bit here because she says, she's like, it's interesting. You have strong mental barriers. You've been trained. I'm here to understand why Darkseid sees you as a threat. And that's when Superman realizes, okay, so you working for Darkseid. Now, Saturn Girl can tell that got to Superman a little bit, Because as she says, she's like, I can sense your synapses firing as you figure it out. So immediately Clark's like, who are you? And she's like, I'm exactly who you think I am. Saturn girl from the moon, Titan from the 31st century. I can see in your mind, you're close, but I don't think I would say corrupted by, perhaps inspired by. But you're right to wonder where the rest of the Legion is. Cosmic Boy and Lightning Lad, they're near. And then she makes this quip. She's like, what is that phrase that you have in this time period? Boys will be boys. And it's in that moment here where we switch over and we see Cosmic Boy and Lightning Lad. They're raiding right outside of the Justice League watchtower. Now, originally here, Lightning Lad is asking Cosmic Boy a question. He's like, are you going to use your magnetic powers to rip it apart and send those metal pieces flying into space and watch the bodies freeze to death? But instead, what Cosmic Boy does and says, he's like, their home is a metal cage and metal is mine. And what Cosmic Boy begins to do here is that he begins to squeeze the metal together, compressing it on the Justice League that's on the inside. And while Mr. Terrific here is trying to activate the emergency evacuation protocol, Superman can hear it all the way from Earth. But the walls were closing in too fast, so Superman tries to rush to get there as fast as he can. But unfortunately, it was too late, as we see Mr. Terrific's blood spatter right on the bottom of the screen. And Cosmic Boy here is so savage because in disappointment, he's like, that's a new record. I honestly thought at least a few would make it out alive. But in revenge here, Superman immediately goes after Cosmic Boy. And he's asking him the simple question. He's like, why? Why? And all Cosmic Boy says is, this is just the start, your relic. Do you know how many members the Legion has? We outnumber you and your allies. But in the same moment, there's another danger that Superman has to pay attention to, because we see here the picture of Ma Kent. And as Cosmic Boy continues to explain, he's like, even now, while I'm here with you, Lightning Lad is activating the next stage of our plan to break you. So Superman, realizing exactly where this is going to be, as he can hear his mom's voice, he rushes down to her as fast as he possibly can. But it was too late, because Lightning Lad had already done his dirt. And all Superman can do is scream, why? As he goes to town on Lightning Lad. But here's the thing. It's in that moment where Superman starts to realize, he's like, hold on, wait a minute here. I can feel what you're doing, Saturn Girl. We're still in the field. And everything that he's seen so far is all in his head. Now, Saturn Girl is kind of impressed here because she's like, most people crack right about now. The horror breaks their mental frontal lobe defenses. But not you. You're still pushing against my powers. I guess I'll have to push harder. And then we get this montage here of basically these really important people in Superman's life. And she's basically walking him through it. As she says, she's like, hey, I see you had a crush on me once. Cute. To which Supes is like, nah, not you. But she continues on. She's like, the Legion really meant something to you, didn't they? You believe in hope, in this world, in people. It's not an act, it's real. You are truly Darkseid's opposite. But I'm here to tell you something. Nothing you do matters. Nothing you ever did matters. Every single life you saved was meaningless. You were there when Darkseid ascended. You thought it was his death, but it was the beginning of his transformation. Where I'm from, Darkseid is the past, present, and future. Darkseid simply is. And then she continues on. She's like, now, what to do with you? How about I just lock you away and watching your mother die over and over again? That sounds fun. Trust me though, it's a better fate than what Darkseid has planned for his return. But in that moment, someone comes in here to save Superman, and it is Doomsday, aka the Time Trapper. Because remember now, he had escaped back in issue number 27, and he said that he was going to do something. Well, what he has done is complete, and you'll see that as we continue to go on. So he runs over to Superman, and he's like, yo, quick, Superman, we only have moments before that witch recovers, and the first of her brats descend upon us. Now, Superman is still out of it. He's like, yo, Time Trapper, what? But then before they go, Time Trapper says this. He's like, I warned you. So just to bring back up to your memory here, back in issue number 20, the Time Trapper had visited Superman and told him basically, I need you to kill me so that I can be reborn, so that I can become stronger, so that I can rule over all eternity, or else something worse will happen. And this right here is the beginning of the worst that will happen. So when we jump back to the present comic here, as Time Trapper takes away Superman, he's like, and now we are out of options. So of course, naturally, Saturn Girl is all pissed. She's like, Time Trapper, I will find you. I will kill you. But then a very powerful voice comes into her head and is like, you are not to engage with the Superman. You disobeyed me, Saturn Girl. To which she replies, she's like, I only wanted to see him for myself, my lord. So Darkseid tells her, he's like, you will return to me. You will gather my legion. There was another that could endanger my plans, one that you must protect. And with that, the earth swallowed her up. It took her back. So after Saturn Girl gets swallowed up by the ground gear, we hear Superman talking to Time Trapper and telling them, we gotta go back to Smallville. My mother is still there. To which Time Trapper is like, bro, I don't care about your adoptive mother. Her life is meaningless. And Superman, of course, is insistent, to which Time Trapper is like, bro, do you not get it? What is at stake now is bigger than any one life. Saturn Girl was right. Your mother will be better off dead if Darkseid returns. To save her and everyone else, you must first save the future. Time Trapper says, he's like, I cannot go on this journey with you though, because after we last fought, I returned to the future and found Darkseid's Legion waiting for me. They tortured me for information on you. I barely escaped and returned to your watchtower looking for help. My allies stayed there while I went to find you. They need my help, but my goal now is to distract the Legion as you travel ahead. But the place where Time Trapper took him, it's strangely familiar here to Superman, because it's like, this is Smallville, but it's not my Smallville though. And it hasn't looked like this since I was a kid. Where are we? So this is where Time Trapper explains, he's like, years ago, I created a pocket timeline outside the known multiverse. It was perfect for hiding an important part of your story. Someone from a different era that I knew could help us with the challenges ahead. They have experience with the Legion of Superheroes. And as they're revealed here, you can see Superman's face. He's like, what and how? And the voice says, what's up, old fart? You ready to kill some nerds? And here we are, the return here of Superboy Prime. But like I said, there's many questions. It's a lot to unpack here. First of all, it's great to see Superboy Prime back. Like, I'm excited, right? But here's the big question. What exactly has the Time Trapper been up to? There's still that piece that we don't know yet. Because I mean, after all, he is still Doomsday. And now as we talk here about Superboy Prime, who we know has an evil past, why does this dude look so chipper? Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Also, by the way, guys, if you haven't already done so, make sure to check out our website here at keepinitcomic.com. The link for that is down below in the description in our link tree. That's where you can grab some of our merch, like the new Raised by Ken shirt celebrating Superman gear. We've also got some fresh gear coming soon for Imperial. We got the new Fantastic Four movie that's coming out and more. It's one of the best ways to support what we're building here at Keepin' It Comic. We appreciate you, and as always, thank you so much for kicking it with Keepin' It Comic. Bye.